My 6-month weight loss transformation, how it changed my life mentally and physically. Just for some context, I lost 50 pounds. A little more than 50 pounds at this point. So this is what I looked like before. And some of these pictures were taken years apart. So I spent most of my adult life being overweight. And if you look at how tall I am to my body weight, I was obese. As you can see, just lifeless eyes and oh my goodness, look at this. I was shaped like an old woman. And this is like the most progress I made after many years of trying to lose weight. And now, this is me. This is my current body right now. All these were taken within the week. This one's kind of insane to me. Look at this. I have a vein that is running up the side of my stomach. I've never seen that on like anybody. This is crazy to think that I have this. I have insane oh my goodness. Look at the waist. Unbelievable. I would have never imagined I would ever look like this. So how did I go from this to this? And how did it change my mind and my body? So one of the big things when I looked like this, I always had the thought of like, it's over. I'm just going to be pudgy and round for the rest of my life. No matter how hard I try, I'm always going to look like this. Maybe I have some sort of genetic abnormality, like it's over. I tried a bunch of different diets. I've tried restricting my calories. I've tried counting my macros, and I would always give up. I would always burn out. I would always feel terrible. So what changed? What led me to pretty much lose weight? Well, I think the biggest catalyst of change for me to get into here was when I read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Body. In the 4-Hour Body, he talked about the slow carb diet, which initially what really kicked off my weight loss journey. Pretty much the slow carb diet is taking away most, especially processed carbs out of your diet, but you can still keep like legumes and beans and cutting out all like the white stuff, bread, rice. What's another one? It was like no milk, no fruit juices, and then you'd have one cheat meal at the end of the week. When I started sticking to that, I started seeing some results, and that really, really encouraged me. I was still looking like this, but I made a lot of good progress, and I felt really happy about it. And then I thought, okay, so this is working. I kind of hit a plateau with it. Maybe I could have gone further with it. But if I cut out these carbs, what would happen if I cut my carbs even further and focused heavily on high proteins and especially high fats? And that's when I really started to shred down to get this kind of body where you can see veins just running up the side of my stomach. I think the biggest change, obviously physically, I look better. I can fit into clothes. You can see I have some resemblance of a jawline. You can see like the muscles in my neck. A lot of people will treat you differently, of course. There was one moment where it became just super clear to me that losing a substantial amount of weight correlated to people treating me better. I remember when I went to the dentist office, I just felt like the vibe of how the receptionist communicated with me, how the dental assistant, how the dentist all treated me. There was nothing where I could be like this exact thing, but it was just like this feeling of like they were a little more, I don't know if cordial is the word, but they were more aware of my presence, and they put more respect and effort to treating me better. I know this sounds really fucking ridiculous, and to anyone who's ever lost any substantial amount of weight, you will notice that people in your life will just treat you different, especially like friends and family, because they know what you look like before and they see you now. A lot of them might say like, oh, like you're losing weight. Well, you got to do this, you got to do that. Oh, that's not possible. It's going to take forever. But then when you make that change, then they're like, oh my gosh, like you did it. You're awesome. You're great. Like, how do you do it? They start asking you for advice. So I think the biggest change when it comes to physicality is like how people treat you. And I think that really ties into how you feel about yourself. Because at first you kind of still think you're fat and you kind of still behave like you're fat. But when others start confirming to you that you're no longer fat and they start treating you differently, you begin to see your own self differently. You begin to think like, oh, like I am kind of, I am good looking. I am confident. I am fit. well, if I'm all these things, then I gotta start behaving like it. And this doesn't happen consciously. I was never like, oh, like I'm feeling this thing, therefore I should act like this. It just, you slip into that role. You kind of melt into it and you become one with it. In one of my videos, I talked about mindset. And one of the biggest mindset shifts during my transformation was pretending I was already fit. Now, this might seem like a hard thing to do because, like, how can you trick yourself into thinking you're fit when every time you look in the mirror, you're fat? It's strange because you have to get a little bit delusional with it. You have to think like, oh, this is like a temporary state. I know I'm going to reach this thing. Like, it's a done deal. It's a wrap. I'm already on that level mentally. Now my actions just have to align, and that's literally it. So then your beliefs start to change about yourself. When your beliefs start to change, your emotions about yourself also shift, and those two things come together to inform your action. Because when you do the action, you feel good about it, you feel aligned with who you are, and you'll feel aligned with your beliefs. These things are so important. A lot of people talk about like the physical change. A lot of people don't talk about the mental change that you go through. I mean, it's night and day. It could be, because of your weight, there could be some sort of energy issue happening. Like I know with insulin and cravings, carbs and whatnot, you can have crashes and you can feel low energy and sluggish and brain fog. So when I switched my diet, I have so many videos on diet. You can just subscribe to my channel and check out all my videos. They're all super useful. You have mental clarity. You feel good about your body. Even if the biggest hack is to lose weight fast. If you can drop the first couple pounds within the week, maybe even less, you're going to feel awesome. Like you're going to celebrate that when you're like, I lost a couple pounds in just a week. And that's going to motivate you to keep going. Like imagine like, oh my gosh, like I lost 2 pounds in a week. Okay, so in a couple of weeks, I'll be down 10 pounds. I'll be this, I'll be that. Oh my gosh, like now I feel like I can do it. That's why I recommend don't do the calorie restriction stuff. Don't do the macronutrient, whatever counting. It's not consistent for me. I don't recommend it personally. I recommend what works for me. And I believe it works for most people, if not everyone. If you cut down on the carbs, if you cut down on the sugars, the processed stuff, if you start doing some intermittent fasting, and I have another video that details all of this, you're going to make a lot of change fast, and that's going to motivate you. You're not going to feel like, oh, I only lost a pound in a month. Are you kidding me? A pound in a month? I would give up, and I have, because that's happened to me. But when you lose a substantial amount of weight in a short period of time, it's so motivating, and it affirms that you're making a change. It affirms that your identity is beginning to shift. Subscribe and check out my 1 hour free coaching call. Link in the description.